How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi, host of Tier Talk. Great question sent my way. Officer said, hey, Gange, I have concerns. I bring it up to my supervisors, my management, and they just ignore me. So how do I get my voice heard? How do I get my concerns heard? And it's a great question, definitely relevant, because you could see it nationally, especially after every major incident, concerns that were ignored. So we're going to discuss it. We're going to discuss what you need to do if you feel that you have a valid concern that's not being heard. So guys, after my sponsors, we'll come back and we'll discuss this topic. Great question. I love the fact that I'm getting these questions because it helps me with new topics every day. So guys, if you have a question you want to send my way, feel free to comment on the video. I read every comment, or email me, gangianthony@yahoo.com. So Gangi, G-A-N-G-I, Anthony@yahoo.com, and I'll try to get to your questions. And guys, if you haven't, please subscribe. This channel's for the frontline brave men and women who work behind that wall. So please subscribe, interact, engage, and hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post up a video. I stand by for our sponsors.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it. It's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Being a corrections officer takes its toll on even the strongest individuals. The constant need to perform at the highest level, putting your life at risk in a hostile environment, and the mental scarring of traumatic experiences. 31% of corrections officers show symptoms of PTSD, and 66% of people with PTSD also suffer with a substance abuse problem. The Transformations First Responders program is specially designed to help veterans and officers heal from the grips of addiction and PTSD in a comfortable, supportive, and serene setting. You are not alone. If you have questions about the services we offer, give us a call at 866-762-8454 to get more information on this affordable and life-changing program.
Thank you guys for listening to my sponsors. So again, the question that was asked was, Gange, as you know, as a frontline, I have concerns. I feel like my concerns are not being heard, and these concerns relate to safety and security. What should I do? So let's see if I can safely give an answer to this. So again, you know, right now, it's been proven time and time again that frontline's concerns have been ignored. You saw it in Delaware. You're seeing it in North Carolina. Other states, I mean, I'm just naming the two major ones that had the riot, the attempted escape, where lives were lost. And what happens here is the concerns, if they were addressed prior, these incidents wouldn't have occurred. And it's been proven, you know, it's been proven. But unfortunately, what happens here, the concerns get ignored. Then we wind up being in reactive mode, and frontline gets very, very upset because they say, hey, I told you this was going to happen. I specifically laid it out, and you ignored it. This death did not have to occur. This staff member did not need to be killed. We could have addressed this. We could have been proactive. We could have been preventive. And they're 100% correct because, you know, when you go back and you look at things, management did have those concerns, and they just chose not to listen, and they chose to ignore those concerns. And that kind of fuels that animosity, that us versus them mentality that seems to kind of be inside our correctional facilities on a national level. And that's sad, you know, because if we're divided, we're vulnerable. You know, the inmates want to see us working in an isolated manner. You know, if they're looking to manipulate and take control, we're doing the work for them. You know, we're isolating ourselves from each other, which makes us very, very vulnerable. We need to kind of be fluid, you know, which means that we have to listen to each other's concerns. And I believe the us versus them mentality kind of originates from the fact that we don't understand each other's perspective. You know, so the way to do that is for both parties, frontline and management, to kind of have that open door and listen to the concerns from both sides. You know, I think that we understand each other's perspective, you know, see what those concerns are, make an attempt to, you know, see if they need to be addressed. It shows that we're listening, and I think that's going to kind of lessen that us versus them mentality. You know, put a limit on the animosity that we seem to have on a national level between management and Frontline. Now, again, for some states have unions, and I hope that the union is very active. And I see it out. Rikers Island has, in my opinion, has a pretty good union. PA's got a couple of concerns recently that came their way, and they're kind of voicing together. But you expect the union to, remember, they're a voice of the people. They can bring it out and get that national attention. But I would also like people from the union to kind of work the front line as well. I don't think they should be in the offices all day. I think that they need to be on the front line as well to really understand what's going on. They really need to work with their people who need the help. Get to know what's going on, get to know the issues. And again, the only way you're going to get to know those issues is if you walk in the floor. But again, you can go to your union. The union has the power to bring it up to a national level. They have the power to go to the media. They speak for the collective voice, and they should be heard. They should be heard. And usually, as I said, people in political positions, they should be listening to the unions because they bring numbers. Everybody's running for position. And it's sad because people only seem to want to listen to people during election time. But again, the unions are able to get the message out there. So, of course, if there are concerns and you try to talk to somebody and they choose not to listen, if you have to go to the union, you have to go to the union. But not all states have unions, and that's where it becomes a little bit tricky. So when you have a legit concern and you bring it up to a supervisor, the supervisor's got to know it's a legit concern. The supervisor's got to know that this is a concern that you're planning on taking to another level. I mean, sometimes it's funny. People want to have a conversation with a frontline supervisor about concerns, but then say, hey, but you didn't hear that from me, or, we never had this conversation. And you can't do nothing with that, because technically as a supervisor, if I feel that that concern should be addressed, I'm sorry, you should never have brought it to me, because I have a responsibility as a supervisor to take it to that next level. But it's funny because a lot of times when people bring up a concern, they bring it up, they put it in the supervisor's ear, and then they walk away and they want nothing to do with it. And you can't do that. You have to stick with it, because that supervisor, if that supervisor decides to go forward with that information, they need to kind of rely on you, the person that said something. Now, if you're not there willing to help them, then, or her, then, you're putting a lot on that supervisor. Some supervisors will step up and deal with it either way. But if you have a concern and you tell the supervisor, it's not off the record. Help the supervisor bring it to the next level if need be. So again, you have to make sure that the supervisor is aware that it's a concern that you want to take to the next level, and be willing that when you bring up that concern, that you're willing to take it to every level with them. That's good to know. You know what I mean? And that should motivate the supervisor as well. Most of the time, it's funny, guys. You get these concerns, and the moment the supervisor's getting reamed at by his bosses, they turn around for support, and, oh, I never said that. I never said that. And now the supervisor looks like an idiot. So again, we bring up the concern, we show mutual support, and we back up the supervisor if it is a concern that needs to be addressed to the supervisor. But again, the key is you have to document everything. And guys, this isn't like this is 101. This is just pretty much what we should know going into the field. Anytime you have a concern and you bring it to someone's attention, document. And when I talk about documenting, you're not just documenting the specifics of the concern, you're also documenting the specifics of who you spoke to. This way, that responsibility of addressing that concern can't be deferred. I spoke to Gangi on this day and this time. So now, if other supervisors don't want to do nothing, Gangi better, because Gangi's been singled out. And it's funny how many people all of a sudden step up to responsibility when they feel that they're being singled out. But if you're addressing things to none of the supervisors want to listen to this, well, you haven't singled anybody out. But if you single somebody out and you start holding them responsible for the information you gained, you gave them, and that this concern has to be addressed, you'll be shocked how many people all of a sudden are going to take it to the next level, and then they're going to start deferring that responsibility to somebody. Hey, listen, they told me, it's my name in this now, so I'm telling you. And unfortunately, to cover myself, I'm going to put my name on this report saying that I spoke to you, whoever this is, So now you're starting to get people that can't defer the responsibility. So again, you tell me at an immediate level, you put me on the spot, you use my name, I'm going to put somebody else on the spot, you know, as it travels up. Because again, everybody's looking to cover their ass, I guess, at this point. And it's sad. We all should be looking to do the right thing. But if you get supervisors that don't want to take it to that next level, then you have to put them in a position where they're going to have to cover their ass. I mean, that's the key. So you don't want to do nothing, fine, but I'm going to document that I spoke to you. So you better think wisely, because your name is going to be in my report that we had this addressed, and if something is to happen, I told you. The good thing is also, even if you don't have a union, if you could get the support from your peers and you can go up as a group, you know, the more voices, the better, as long as they're united, guys, and you have to be united. That's always a problem with us in corrections. We know what we need, but it's just, we kind of just all over the place in how we need to get there. But the thing is, we have to be united, have to have that one collective voice, and that helps the whisper become a scream. Everybody's got that one message. They're going for that one message. And I think that creates a lot of power, especially when you go towards a supervisor who is kind of like, well, it's just you, but you have more people now. Now you have witnesses. That's another thing. You state a concern. Maybe it's good that you have somebody else with you. You know, this way the supervisor can't say, that didn't happen. What do you mean it didn't happen? I have 2 witnesses that were with me that said, I told you. You know, and again, you want to approach it correctly and you help me out, we're good. But if you don't, I'm going to start documenting everything. And I'm going to have witnesses that say I brought it to your attention and you chose not to do anything. So ultimately, the way you're going to get someone to listen to your concerns is by giving them that responsibility that they cannot defer. You know, like, I put your name on it. So you better do something with that information. You better do something with that information. But if you just generally call all supervisors out, you know, I could just defer that responsibility because you're not calling anybody out specifically. Start calling people out specifically and watch how people in the scramble to cover their own ass look to get things done. Because at the end of the day, if you choose not to get it done, you're going to be held responsible because your name's in my reports. Even if you think, well, there's other supervisors, it doesn't matter. In my report, I didn't say I approached other supervisors. I said I approached you. So what is going to be your action? And that's going to put that supervisor in a position where they're going to have to do something, in my opinion. As always, guys, the show is Tier Talk. Love you guys. Keep the questions coming. You know, as I said, the channel's for you guys. So again, emails Gangi, G-A-N-G-I, Anthony at yahoo.com. The show is Tier Talk. Love you guys. Love answering the questions. And guys, if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel, interact, engage, and hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Take care and stay safe.